With College Football 27 right around the corner, I wanted to jump back on College Football 26 one more time to do a little bit of a challenge and see if we can rebuild the worst team in the game in only 5 seasons. If we can't win a championship within the 5 years, I'm going to give you all a shot at winning a copy of the College Football 27 before released. And if you all can get this video to 100 likes or more, we'll upgrade that to a deluxe edition so you get 3 days of early access. So be sure to hit the like button down below and hit the subscribe button because we're going to be doing a couple of these rebuilds before the launch of the game. So you'll get a couple more opportunities to win a free copy. And since Kent State finished with a whopping 62 overall this season, they're going to be our pick to rebuild for the next 5 years. With winning 1 game in the last 2 seasons, there's not a lot of high expectations to get this rebuild done in 5 seasons, but I think we can do it. And while the MAC isn't in the hardest conference of the game, it's still extremely difficult for Kent State, since they're nearly 10 overall points lower than most of the teams in the conference, and teams like Toledo and Buffalo are really going to give us a challenge as they're nearly 14 points better than us right now. But we do have some solid players. Gavin Garcia leads a team at 82 overall, but with the deal breaker being pro potential, we definitely won't see him back at the end of the season. Same thing with Jordan Newman, another halfback who's really solid, but he's a senior, he's gone. Even with our freshman quarterback who could be a big piece down the road, he has championship contender, and right now we're at an F, and I don't see that changing before the transfer portal. But we do end up with a couple of solid pieces that should be here for a long time. Cade Wolford has a playtime deal breaker, and we should keep that up at an A+ because he'll get a lot of playing time. And the same thing can be said for Rollins here. He's a freshman redshirt cornerback with 72 overall and 88 speed, which isn't the greatest in the world, but for the MAC is definitely playable, and he could be the best cornerback or best defensive player on our team very shortly. And most schools can get a couple 3 stars interested in them in each season, but the Kent State Golden Flashes don't have such luck, and we don't have a single player with us in their top 10, so it's going to be a fight just to get some 3 stars. But getting gyms like Morgan Stick here is going to be a huge thing for us to expedite this process and get us to the college football playoff. We also get Greg Marsh, so we have 2 premier quarterback options that could be big players for us down the road. And early on, we're going to focus on playing games where we have 4 recruits at the game so we can capitalize the visits and get the biggest interest boost possible. But even jumping into these games is not going to be a guarantee because we are only going to be able to play the moments in the game. We're not going to be able to play every single play or drive, so our team's still going to have to be pretty solid, and we're going to have to recruit really well. And we'll have a chance here on 3rd and 3 to get some decent gains here. We're in field goal range, but if we can make it to the end zone, that would be huge on this possession. And our wide receiver drops it. We're going to settle for a 4th down conversion. We haven't had any success on 3rd or 4th down, so we're going to look to at least get some here. And the little curl route's going to get us the 1st down and then some, and we'll be in the red zone. And being in the red zone, they're going to let us keep going here. It's a big moment. Our first trip to the red zone of this rebuild. The last game we've played, which was the CPU, we were shut out 72-0, so getting a score here will be our first touchdown in 2 games, and that was a massive run by Garcia to get us inside the 10. But we're going to switch it up here and go with the pass play across the middle, wide open, but it's intercepted. I thought they were blitzing. They were coming on the blitz, and then they stopped, and they're going to pick us off inside the 5, and we're not able to get any points in that drive. And the CPU was able to go get us a score, so we're up 10-0. And if we can keep this lead, we should be in a good spot. And we're going to try to air this one out. That's deep. 1 man to beat. Oh, it's going to be picked on the 1-yard line. It works basically actually better than a punt probably, so I'm not too upset about that interception. Another 3rd and long situation. We have a chance to get us inside a decent spot into at least field goal range. And that's going to be a wide open wide receiver on the right-hand side. And now we're down inside the 20. And that's 170 yards for our quarterback passing so far in the 1st half. And pretty much 1 player, we're going to settle for a field goal. That's still not too terrible here, but we would love to score a touchdown if we can get one. And that is going to be a wide open man in the end zone. He's going to make the diving catch. And that's going to be 6, our first touchdown of the series, as we go up 3 scores right before half. And they're going to go on to here 4th and 24. They have to go for it. Obviously, they're going to go for a pass. We're going to lay off a little bit. 4th and forever. We're up 24-0. They feel like they have to go. It's the 4th quarter. Our defense CPU has been absolutely insane. And oh my goodness, they were so close to getting it, but we're able to stop them a couple yards short. But that's the end of it. After going down 72-0 last week to Oklahoma, we come back, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago, we come back and shut out UMass for our 2nd win, 31-0, and Garcia, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. It's going to suck to see him go at the end of the year, but I'm glad we get to at least use him this year to hopefully boost our roster for next season. And this is our first signee of the rebuild, Jared Aniki, a 3-star out of Virginia, but he's not the only one. We also get Felix Peace, a Mike linebacker who's going to help our defense, and Greg Marsh, the 3-star gem out of Alabama, is going to be huge for our program over the next 4 or 5 seasons, and Christian Yerby as well. So we went 4 for 4 recruits. Running up the score definitely did do what we wanted it to do. And after clutching up and signing those 4 recruits, we're going to have 2 more coming on and visit in week 9. Finiao, heck of a name, a 3-star right edge, should be a huge addition if we can get him. And then Timmy Paul, a halfback who we're going to hopefully replace Garcia with next season, will also be on a visit. So winning against Bowling Green is going to be huge for us in the program. But we're still working on players like Randall Bettis, a JUCO sophomore who has Georgia, Auburn, and Clemson in his top 3, so hopefully we can jump past them. And then also a defensive tackle, Clyde Henderson, who's pure power. We haven't spent much time on him, but with more hours now we can divvy out. He's getting 50, and we should see massive improvements soon. Same thing with Daryl Timms. If we can get another left tackle, we'll have a really solid base on our front 5 for the next 3 seasons at least. And I don't think they'll transfer because we have pretty good deal breakers on them, both being playing time, and they should be around for all 3 or 4 years. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because now we're getting to the point where we have to schedule other weeks where we're not going to be able to play. Jerry's Cars coming in week 13 against Central Michigan. They're 1-6 right now, so we're not going to play that game. We're going to stick with playing Bowling Green State, especially since they're a rival with us. And especially last week after we lost to Toledo, jumping up here and beating Bowling Green State would put us in the top half of the league and a really good shot to finish with above a 500 record, which is really nice going into our 2nd year. And with College Football 27 coming out, rivalry games are going to be super important because you're going to be able to earn more NIL by winning those. But since this is one of our final rebuilds in College Football 26, it's not that important, but it still is important because we have 2 recruits coming on a visit, and those 2 guys are going to be a part of our first class, possibly that could be our first appearance or one of our first appearances in college football playoff down the road. And they were able to get another score, so they go up 10-0. Now it's going to be our turn. We're going to audible here. I don't like, we had a halfback tossing out to the right-hand side. I don't like where that was going. They had enough people over there. We're going to hit our tight end across the middle. That's going to be wide open as we get inside the red zone. And since we're in the red zone, they'll give us the reins. We were super successful in the last game. We skunked them 31-0. Obviously, it's not gone that way this time. But on 2nd and 7, we'll get 3 as Boston Crown will go down with an injury. Gladly, it's not any of our top tier players. I don't want like Garcia to go down or DeShields, our quarterback. I would hate to see both of them guys go down, even though they won't be back next year. But they are super vital to our team. And across the middle, wide open wide receiver, and he's going to drop it. He had that in his hands and unfortunately couldn't get it. Oh my gosh, I missed that ride white. Oh my God. And that just goes from bad to worse as we don't get any points before the half. On 1st and 10, at the 2-minute warning, they're going to run a halfback toss out to the right side. I don't think anybody's going to catch him. And it's going to be a wide open run. Oh my goodness, we are getting absolutely destroyed, and we are making sure our recruits do not want to come here if we can't come back in the 2nd half. But they got that score with a little bit too much time left on the clock. We haven't had much success in the passing game. We tried some big passes, but we need to kind of find something. I mean, we've had wide open wide receivers. It's just nothing has been caught. But across the middle, wide open man with some grass in front of him. A juke move doesn't get between the 2 defenders, but we do get the first down, and now we're on our side of the 50. And after that big gain, we have a chance to actually score some points in this one. We haven't had too much success so far, but Garcia is going to find a hole if he has a block. Oh, he doesn't have the speed to get out there, out to the left-hand side. But a massive gain there gets us in the red zone. And again, we haven't had success so far in the end zone. All right, across the middle, wide open man, first down and then some. He doesn't get there. They're going to call a timeout. On 1st and goal from 3, we're going to be running this ball right up the middle. Maybe we can get a down or 2. Maybe use their timeouts, but it doesn't matter. Garcia is going to run his way into the end zone, shed a few tacklers, and we'll have 7 or 6 on the board now. And we should be able to come back in the 2nd half. We do get the ball first. And our defense is just getting beat up time and time again. I think they had 3 straight run plays of 20+ yards to get here, and they put us in a moment to stop them from scoring here. And we were on the running back there. We got through the line, and we blew that play up. So that's the first time I think we've actually stopped them at any point. Now 2nd and 11. See if we can get another stop to run the ball. We don't have anybody out there. We do stop them. They do get a gain of 4, though. And on 3rd and 7, We have a chance to at least keep them to a field goal and a nice tackle. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to break it and go for a first down, but we do get the stop here and not to settle for 3. We take over here on 2nd and 3rd from the 14. We've had half success, 50-50 in the red zone so far tonight, and it's been Garcia all night that's got it there, but it didn't work on that play. This time we're going RPO. It looks like they're pressing up. Not sure if he'll play off. He doesn't, but Garcia, can he get to the first down? He's an inch short, but we're going for it on 4th down. QB sneak. In college football 27, you have to have the green light or whatever on the bar that's going, but in college football 26, a QB sneak is pretty much guaranteed. And in the 4th quarter, we probably should be throwing the ball, but again, we've just been dropping it so many times. We've missed out on basically 2 full touchdowns because we dropped the ball, so we're sticking with Garcia here. On 2nd and goal from the 6, we have a chance to get within 1 score, but a flag's thrown on the play and we're sacked. And after that huge offsides call for us on the defense, we'll be right on the goal line, and Garcia gets his 2nd of the night, and he'll have us in within 1 score. And 1st and goal from inside the 5. It doesn't look like we have much that we can do, and the running back's going to spin off and get the touchdown, and I don't think we're going to be able to come back in these last few minutes. And somehow, some way, they also scored a 2nd touchdown. I guess we turn it over on, I don't even know. It wasn't on downs, but we're going to go for a deep chuck down the field, and that's intercepted, and that's going to be the ball game. And unfortunately, that was all for naught because we weren't able to even get within a close loss. So we're going to lose a lot of points with our recruits we brought in this week, and we may lose out on them. Hopefully, having nobody else recruiting them keeps us in the lead and keeps us to the finish line, and we secure them as recruits. But this was a massive L for us, and we're not going to be able to jump in any other games for the rest of the season. And since that loss was a rivalry game, we also got blown out. We were only able to get 4 points from a family visit because it was an A-. We ended up with 0 points, which is really bad because Ohio is now right on our tails, and they have a visit week 11. So if they have a big win, they could jump back in front and take him before the end of the year. But luckily, Finiao just got in his top 3, and it doesn't look like any of the other schools in the top 3 are even recruiting him. They haven't offered him a scholarship, so we should be able to secure him. Fingers crossed. And while we've been having success with most of our recruits, we are going to lose out on Eric Washington, who is a 3-star Mike linebacker with a lurker archetype, who should be really good, but he's going to be going to Miami as they're jumping back in the race, and they went up a big portion in just 1 week, so we're going to have to take him off our board. But at least we get 50 hours back that we can divvy up to some of the guys who we weren't able to bring in the last week with the visit. And I knew this rebuild was going to be hard, but I didn't realize how many players are going to want to transfer each season. We already knew DeShields, our QB1, was probably going to be transferring in the year, and the same thing with Garcia, who wanted to have really good pro potential, which just did not have the capability of doing. But at the bottom here, we can see a 60 overall QB 3 or 4 that wants to transfer because of playing time this season. Who does he think he's going to play for? He's absolutely delusional. And this week, we're the biggest fans of Miami, Ohio, as they were able to 3 times the points of Ohio in a routing, and we're going to be able to stay within and should be able to capitalize and get Timmy Paul before the end of the season. And as we head into the big recruiting week against Central Michigan, we can kind of catch up where we stand. Obviously, we had a really bad start. We did get the 31-0 win over UMass, so that was our last win until we beat up on Akron 31-17, and we were able to put over 500 yards up on them, 300 passing, 200 in rushing, where Garcia put up 103, and DeShields even got in with 96 on 8 carries, and it was an absolute beat down in the rivalry game. And unfortunately, we won't be able to jump in against the game against Central Michigan, but we do have a really good chance. They're 1-9 on the season, 0-6 in conference, and if we don't win this game, I don't think we deserve to win any game this season because they are the worst team or one of the worst teams in the conference, and we have a chance to secure some really good recruits this next coming week. And we were able to sign Finiao, the 3-star speed rusher who's going to be absolutely killer for us over the next few years. If he has a really good dev trait, he could be a monster in his junior and senior years. And right now we're top 5 in the conference in recruiting classes, and we're nearly in the top 75 nationally. And if we're able to sign 3 or 4 more 3-star recruits in the next week, we should jump up to first place in the conference and possibly even in the top 30 nationally. And luckily we do close out the deal with Timmy Paul, but he's the only recruit we get this week. So we're going to come back and see if we can get the other ones before we head to off-season recruiting. And we'll finish this season on a 3-game win streak, where we didn't allow us 3 or more touchdowns in any of those games. And this is a great way to end the season. And I think it matches the exact same record that Kent State had in real life this season, which is just kind of funny. But going on 3 wins, getting Timmy Paul last week, and being really close to getting 3 more 3-stars will have us sitting pretty going into next year. And we were also able to get our championship contender all the way up to a C rating, which should save some players from transferring. It might not save our top handful of guys and our edge and our starting quarterback, but all is the better to keep just a little bit more so we don't have to get 40 or 50 people replaced next year. And as we near into the offseason, we'll go ahead and upgrade a couple more things. We're gonna get defensive line to level 3. I like having our linebackers as well get a good boost, so we'll get them to level 3 as well. And we're gonna go ahead and upgrade our quarterbacks to level 1, and hopefully we can get a little bit more next season and get them a boost. I don't think we'll get them before the offseason, but we'll have 3 position groups have training offseason boosts this year, so I think that's a really good improvement for our very first season. And now it's time to get rid of our coaches. We're getting rid of George Simmons here. He's a skiing guru, which isn't too terrible. I just don't like where his stats are. Quarterbacks and running backs, I think, are the 2 worst skill groups in that fashion, so we're going to be firing him. But we are going to keep Darren Gardner. Our defense actually did really good. We had a couple player of the weeks in the MAC, and he also does a really good job of boosting our secondary, which we don't have right now, but he also makes them less likely to transfer, so we should be able to keep a lot of our DBs this coming year. And we'll get our first commits right before the offseason. Randall Betts, the center 3-star who we brought in, going to be a huge addition to our line. Daryl Timms, our second 3-star left tackle of the class, and we'll get them too. We're still waiting on a few like Dakota Fayad and Jamie Silvestro, but hopefully they'll come in the next couple weeks. And John Mateer is going to win the Heisman. I feel like he always does well in the first season. And we'll finish the regular season with the most 3-stars in the MAC. We haven't done a lot of work on 2-stars, but it doesn't matter. I want to get the top of our class field out, and then we can go back and get some guys, but I still think we have a chance to do really well in the transfer portal. And we're also going to bring in Manuel Friend as our OC. We didn't really have many options, but he's a motivator and does have some points in recruiter, so hopefully he'll help us along there as well. And as we all know, Indiana won the national title this year, but this year it's going to be Duke in this rebuild. I know how broken they are in this game, but holy crap, going as a 10 seed and 15-2 from the ACC all the way through and running the gauntlet is absolutely insane. And while I knew this transfer portal was going to be bad, I did not realize we were going to lose the max 20 players plus 14 graduates. So we're at 34 players leaving this season. Luckily, we can replace them 1-for-1. There's been years in some rebuilds where you lose 40 plus players, you're not able to replace them all. So I think we can do it. I don't know if we will do it, but it is a possibility. And since we do have 2 persuasion chances, we could go for a Garcia, but there's no shot that we do that. So we're gonna go for some younger guys that could possibly be helpful down the line, like Boston Crowell here, a freshman left guard. And he's not been persuaded. I didn't have high hopes, but even like a strong safety in Joel Cordoba, he would be huge. He's not been persuaded as well. There wasn't really a chance, but we had 2 persuasions. I didn't really think we were bringing anybody back anyways. And after that whopping transfer portal, we're going to have to sign 7 guards and 4 tackles on the offensive line this season. It's going to be absolutely insane to backfill those guys. So we're going to have to get a lot of 2-stars and possibly even 1-stars just to fill out our roster spots. Well, the first 2 weeks of the transfer portal weren't a success in terms of signees. We did make some good moves. We took a little bit of a risk on Tofelson here. It didn't work out, so we're going to remove him and get those 50 points back. But Hayden Christenman is going to hopefully be a lock here soon. Nobody else is really pushing for him. Same thing for BJ Tolo, another transfer, a sophomore who could be a big part of our offensive line next year. And we're also making big games on Caden Sweat, another offensive guard who could be a big player for us next season. But even outside transfers, Clyde Henderson is going to be a defensive tackle who we should lock in next week. And then Will Hope, we were a little bit behind. Miami and North Carolina decided to take him off their board. And we'll go to our first signing of the portal, Denzel Garnes, a 3-star high school cornerback, and he's going to be killer for us in the next few years. And this class has been absolutely killer. There's a couple guys that are going to highlight this class though, and the first one's going to be Greg Marsh, the only gem that we signed this season. Star development, 85 throw power, pretty good, 85 speed, really good. He's a pure runner, so his actually isn't going to be the best. Another player here, Christian Yearby with Star Dev, 2 guys on our roster. Next year we'll have Star development for sure, but that's not even the best yet, because we have 1 guy, Clyde Henderson, with elite dev trait, our very first of the real, but he's going to be killer. And his deal breaker, I'm pretty sure, is playing time, so he's going to be here for all 3 or 4 seasons because he's going to be on the field every single second we can get him. And the rest of the class is pretty solid as well, because we're going to finish as first in the conference, nearly top 50 as a MAC team. We have at least 10 more 3-stars than everybody else. We have the most signees in the conference, one ahead of Miami and then multiple ahead of most other teams. We're only signed 1 2-star, and we're going to be absolutely killer next season. I'm excited to see how these guys progress. We may not have a great year next year, but this team as a baseline will have a very good foundation for years to come. And with our first training of the rebuild, we had some big jumps. Tolo, the transfer we just brought in, is going to jump up to 81 overall, the best player on the team. Cade Walford going to get up to 79. Chrisman isn't going to move up any. And then Caden Sweat, another guy who he brought in, is going to go up 1. But Taryn Martin is going to jump up 7 points. Doesn't get the boost to speed, but he's going to be really solid. We also see Ardell Banks, our wide receiver 1 speedster archetype, get up to 89 speed. He's going to be killer for us. And we also have players like Martell Buchanan, another 7-point jump. And then one of the biggest ones of the team, Ian Ritchie, a kicker. He's going to jump up 9 points, so we'll always take that no matter what. But all in all, I think this team's really improved. It doesn't look great on paper. Obviously, it's Kent State. It's not going to look like that. But I think for the foundation and building this team up from the ground up, I think we're in a really good spot. And not that it'll affect this season's, but we do have 50 points. So we're going to go ahead and finish out passing game to get the quarterbacks a boost. We're also going to do running backs. I think as we have 2 freshmen on the team, getting them boosts for the next handful of years is going to be huge. And then we're going to go to DBs. I like to get up DBs, so we're going to get them 1. We'll finish out DBs, we'll finish out wide receivers, and then we'll probably start playing around maybe with recruiter, maybe with another thing, or maybe even going to master motivator. But we do have to get 5 players drafted. Not sure when that will happen. If you're also watching, I just want to say thank you all. Since you're all supporting the channel, I just want to give you all another chance to get a free entry into the giveaway. So go ahead and comment down below who you think is going to win the World Cup, and make sure you put your YouTube in the notes comments on the Google form to give you all that second entry. But anyways, let's get back into the rebuild. And while I do love pulling with custom conferences, we're not going to do that in this rebuild, but we will do one thing, and that's going to increase the number of games in conference for SEC from 8 to 9, since that's what's going to happen next season. That's the only change we're going to be making to custom conference in this rebuild. And this is how we'll start the 2026 season, with the 66 overall in offense, defense, and in total. I think that's pretty solid. A 4-point jump from last year. Pretty good. We do have a couple players possibly leaving because the championship contender grade, but if we can do well and maybe make a push towards the conference championship, and we're not going to touch the schedule very much in this rebuild. Right now we play FCS Southeast, Florida Atlantic, Ohio State, and then we end the season actually with Miami of Florida, not Miami of Ohio. We do have them on the road. We have back-to-back road games, so we're going to have to get our recruiting done really early in this one, but hopefully that won't change too much. And picking up Coach Fran here was huge for our recruiting department, because he can scout all 3 major position groups outside of linemen quicker, which is going to give us a ton of more info on the players we're recruiting this next few years. And we'll get our first gem of our second cycle, David Awesome. He's a gadget wide receiver, which in 26 is completely broken. He has 86 throw power, 88 speed, and could possibly be a QB of the future, but we'll probably slot him as wide receiver in his first couple years. And for our second season, we're gonna go with a little bit of a different strategy. We're gonna throw a couple 4-stars that don't have any offers on the board. And the first one's gonna be Imani Guy, a right tackle who looks really solid. Obviously he's a 4-star, he'll be the best player on the team. And we also threw Tony Christick and a few other 4-stars on as well. And if we can even get one of these guys, they're gonna massively improve our team, especially if we can get an offensive lineman, because that's gonna be killer in the MAC. And just 1 week later, we'll get our first visits available to us, and we're gonna be inviting Christick on a visit. And we just have to pick between week 6 or 7, because we have UMass at week 6, but Toledo at week 7. And Toledo, who's top 3 in the conference, but they only have a 1 overall advantage against us. We get 3 times the boost. So we're gonna sign him up to come visit, and we're gonna jump into that game. That's gonna be our first game we play this season. But we're not gonna be bringing all of our recruits on a visit this year. Wade Everett, a pocket passer QB that we want to bring in. He has a 40-hour scheduled visit requirement, and also we don't even have anything better than a C+ on his motivation, so we're not even going to risk bringing him in. And as we come into week 7, we'll start off the season 2-3 and 1-1 in the MAC. We're in the 5th spot. We beat FCS Southeast by 3 points barely. We could have got a win against FAU, but Ohio State killed us. We did get the win against Western Michigan, and we somehow lost the game to UMass, even though they're 56 right now in the game. We have 10 overall points better, and we should be 3-2 heading into Toledo, where we could take them down and possibly be in the top 2 in the conference. But looking at the UMass game, game. Offensively, we had a better night. We only rushed for 34 yards, but we were able to pass for 414 passing yards. Andrew Alford, the transfer freshman, had a quarterback rating of 150, a 62% completion percentage. He only passed for 2 touchdowns though and 1 interception. So our run game is really bad this year, but at least our passing's keeping us in the games. And we're gonna need that big time because this is the biggest week for the university of all time. We have 2 4-stars and then a 3-star gem gadget wide receiver who could be really good for our program later on. And with 3 of these guys being linemen, we'll get a really solid boost, especially if we can get a blowout win like we did last year against UMass that first visit week. So I'm really excited to see what we can do against Toledo. And while our run game hasn't been great, our passing game has been exceptional. We had 400 yards in the loss last time. Obviously, we didn't play in that, but we're just going to run it in with our QB. It was wide open. Why not take a freebie? And the Golden Flashes go up 6 to start this game off. And although we started off really strong to start this game, Toledo has made a really good push, and they've been putting it on us in the last few possessions. So they're going to get another good pass here and get in inside the 5. And now we only have a few yards between us and them scoring another touchdown to go up 10 points. They're going to run the ball here. We're going to be right on him, but we're not going to get the tackle as he's just going to run us over and get into the end zone. And now we're down 10 and we need to make a comeback. With the game on the line, everything now is just going to be pretty much a chuck to the end zone. We just got to at least find 1 or 2 men that are open. We have a one-on-one here. Can we go up and get it? He gets in, and that's a touchdown, and we have to go for 2, but we could have a 1-possession game here if we can convert. The biggest make or break point of the game here, 2-point conversion. That's a wide open man over across the middle, and he'll get it, and we're only down 8 points now. And that's game. They went into victory formation. I didn't realize we didn't have any timeouts there at the end, so we couldn't stop the clock, and the game's over. Unfortunately, but we did come back with an 8, so we shouldn't get the massive losing boost. It was a close game, so hopefully the recruits that are on a visit this week won't take it too much to heart, and we can still bring them in the next couple weeks. And our first commit of the season is going to be David Awesome, the 3-star gem wide receiver. That's also a gadget archetype. He should be super impactful in this rebuild before the end of it. And there we go, Tony Christic, a 4-star center that we got over Miami. They came in a little bit late, but it's their first 4-star ever in Kent State history, and he should be a really good recruit for us over the next few years. But even though we got him to commit, his deal breaker is conference prestige, so the next few years are going to be super important for us to keep that up. And looking at our schedule, after going 500 in the first 4 games, we've lost the last 4. They've all been relatively close, which is good, but we still need to find some wins. And over the next 3 games, we're going to hop into the Eastern Michigan one. They seem to be the best team. They have the best record so far. Miami and Central Michigan both are going to be a little bit risky, but I do think we could get those wins, and then obviously we're going to lose to Miami. We don't have any visits playing these next few weeks, so I don't really think that's going to matter much. So we're just going to jump in against Eastern Michigan and see if we can get us a win and hopefully get us to that 4 or 5 win mark. And this game's been a real barn burner, 9-0. The only points that have been scored are off field goals, and we're going to look to at least get something back. And nothing's going to come on that play, but it just seems like we haven't found our footing all year. We had that one game where we threw for over 400 yards. I thought passing would be a little bit better for us, but the run game isn't there either. And it seems like every time we play, we just get a rain game. So hopefully that's really our only issue. And that's the reason why we're not doing too hot. We don't get the first down, but we're going to go for it with 4th and inches here. And depending on the run game here is going to be pretty worrisome, but we do get the first down by a little bit. And with the recruits we have, we only have a couple, but one of them's a gem and one of them is a 4-star, the best recruit ever. So like, I think we have a good chance to improve next season. But even though we can improve with the players on the roster next year, I still don't like the fact that we only have 1 season left to really get into anywhere, or 3 seasons left to get anywhere into the playoffs or even a conference championship game. But even if we win the conference championship game and then make it into the playoffs at least next season, it really doesn't matter as long as we make it in and hopefully can win it by year 5. And I was playing this last drive and I was wondering why we didn't see our RB1 out there, but he dislocated his knee. He's probably done for the season. We also have Fletcher out with a broken wrist and Sweat with a torn labrum, who he's one of our top incoming transfers this season. So we've been really hit by injuries this year where we didn't see any last season. But on 3rd and 3, if we get the first down here, it'll be nice, but we're going to go for it all. We're going for a touchdown. He has the step. Does he have it? But it's broken up. 4th and 3, we're still going to go for it. And while this is risky, I'd rather go for it now and put some pressure on him rather than just going for a field goal, which I'm not even sure we would make. It's pretty far. It's rainy and our kickers aren't that great, even though they went up 9 overall points at the end of the last season, but it doesn't matter because we caught that and it's going to be a first down. So we'll be inside the red zone with a couple plays or a couple possessions, and we can get one, and we're going to have a good cutback, but the slow freshman can't get away. But at least we get the first down. First and goal, wide open wide receiver across the middle, and that's going to be an easy touchdown. And we're 1 score away, and I think if we can get a stop on defense, we have a good chance of winning. And our defense definitely was the worst side of the ball. We didn't really bring in a ton of recruits last season, so I can see why we're getting beat up and can't really hold people back from scoring anything, but we're going to have to find a way to win. Hopefully the rain will affect them here, and we can get a turnover on downs or maybe an interception or something. But with only a couple minutes left on the clock, it's not looking great, and they're running the clock out. We do have 3 timeouts. That's hurt us in the past in our last game this season, but we're going to need to get a stop, and they get the first down. He breaks a tackle, and oh my goodness, he's going to get on their side of the 50. What the heck are we doing? With the 2-minute timeout come and gone, we have 3 timeouts left. We have a chance to get a stop here. If we can just stop the run game, they've been good all night, and we just can't seem to bring them down, but at least we stop them for the first down. And we're playing right down the middle. We're bringing as many guys as we can without losing a matchup, and I think if we can just stuff the middle, we'll get a stop. They're going to be a stop of 2 or loss of 2, and we'll get another timeout, 1 more, we can get the ball back. But this formation worries me a little bit. They have a couple receivers down on the edge. I'm going to, oh, they're going to go for it. Oh my goodness. We get to the quarterback, and that's a sack, and we're going to get the ball back after this punt, and we have a chance. And starting this possession from the 13, we're going to have to come up with some interesting plays, and that's going to be a massive one to start us out down to the 45, and he runs out of bounds to save some time. And after that lucky play on the first play of the drive, we didn't get so lucky last time, and we threw an incomplete pass. That's another wide open receiver. He's going to catch the ball and run, get to the out of bounds line. He gets out of bounds. Do we have the stoppage of the clock? We do. We did stop the clock, so there we go. We have time to settle ourselves. We can get another pass here. We only need a field goal, so we could run the timeout if we want. I would love to see a touchdown, though. We catch it there. Time's running out. But from here, it's going to be a little bit worrisome. I don't want to take a kick from this far away. I mean, I think we can possibly make it. But it's just, oh, no. Oh, no. He tipped the ball. Oh, my goodness. He tipped the ball, and they picked it off. What a way to throw that one away. Oh, my goodness. And looking at the replay here, you can see he got hit as he threw. Oh, my God. He catches better than our receivers. And just utter disbelief, Eastern Michigan will take it without scoring a single touchdown. They win 9-7 on a rainy, dreary day. And oh my, there's just no words you can even come up for that. And year 2 is going to be a lot like year 1. We don't really have any way to really bring a championship contender. Going 2-8 to start this season, we'll probably finish 2-10 if we're going to be honest. That last play honestly just sealed the deal for the rest of the season, I would say. And we do sign Wade Everett, a 3-star quarterback, pocket passer archetype. I think he'll be pretty solid for us, but he will be competing with Greg March, our 3-star Jim from last year, who hasn't really played much, but as a pure runner, he may not be the best quarterback option for us, but I'm excited to see them compete and see who comes out on top. And we'll end this season dead last in the MAC at 2-10. We lost our last 8 games. While we had some close games, we also got beat up pretty bad the last couple weeks. Central Michigan 35-7, and then we went to number 2 ranked Miami and lost 44-7 as a tune-up game for them for the playoffs. And honestly, I'm not sad this season's over because we have a really good chance to see one of the best players ever at Kent State and Chris Stick come in next season and hopefully get a lot of playing time. Obviously, he's a center, so he's not going to be super impactful in terms of like scoring points, but he's going to really protect our quarterback, and I'm really excited for him. And there we go. We get another 4-star, Monty Guy, a right tackle out of Nebraska. He's going to be huge for us. And this year we're going to keep Manuel Fran, but we're going to let Darren Gardner go. I think we can get a better coordinator from him. I mean, we came out with Fran last year and the pool wasn't even that good, and he's got really good recruiting and motivator stats, which is what we want to see. And then the second Heisman of the rebuild is going to be Jaden Mayava of USC. And Lincoln Riley continues his trade of being a quarterback whisperer. And we'll finish early national signing day as the 5th top team in the conference with the least amount of recruits, and we're top 75 already. And we do as well as we did last year in the portal, and we should solidify our spot as the #1 team in the conference and possibly even a top 25 recruiting class in the nation. The 2026 College Football Playoff sees a couple new faces, but Texas runs the gauntlet and they're going to be the 2026 national champions. And look at our stats. Andrew Alford didn't have a terrible season, but as a freshman redshirted, he will be back next season and he'll be able to compete against Marsh, who didn't play any games, so he'll be redshirted, and also our incoming freshman as well. But on the run game side, we had a pretty abysmal year. Martin was injured for the last couple games. Same thing with Kimbrough, so we didn't have our RB1 or RB2, and we weren't even able to rush over 1,000 yards as a team. But hopefully that improves this year, and we're really going to focus on getting a running back in the portal. And as predicted, we'll lose Tolo and Chrisman and Sweat, so 3 of our biggest transfers from last year. But we're also going to be losing Greg Marsh. He's transferring this year, and somehow his playtime deal breaker went from an A+ just a second ago to an F, and he's gone. We're going to try to convince him at least. He's not been persuaded, so we're going to lose a 3-star gym star development quarterback that could have been pivotal for a college football playoff run at the end of this rebuild. But outside of that, we are going to finish with 27 transfers or graduates, so not as bad as last year, and we'll be able to hopefully replace all of them. And this is by far and away the best class Kent State has ever, or probably will ever get. We're going to start off the top here with a Monty guy. We've talked about him before, but he comes in as an elite dev trait right tackle, and he's going to be huge for our front 5 this coming season. And we also follow that up with Chris Stick, a 4-star impact dev, and also Zach Stroud as well, another 4-star halfback this time. But another guy with star dev trait, this time Barry Leach, a will linebacker who's going to be huge for our defense. It really sucked this year. He's going to really make our defense a lot better, even in his first or second season. And then David Awesome, the 3-star gym wide receiver, comes in with elite dev trait as well. And he's going to be huge for our wideout group. And he could play a massive role, especially as a gadget wide receiver with throw power. We could throw him in some unique sets. And the rest of this class was really solid as well. We finished in the top 40 nationally and number 1 in the conference, which was easy to predict with 3 4-stars. The only 4 stars in the MAC. We also finished with the most 3 stars in the conference as well. And before we get to offseason training, we're going to upgrade our DB group to that 3rd tier, so we get the offseason training boost. And before we get to that, we'll get an upgrade to dev trait. This time it's going to be Rawson. We talked about him before the first season. He's been super impactful for our team already. And training went crazy this year. Clyde Henderson, a guy we brought in last season with elite dev, 13 points to his overall from a 70 to an 83 was just absolutely insane. And the rest of the top guys on the team all went up a bunch as well. We're starting to get a lot of high 70s, and we should see a ton of 80s going into next year. And we should see this team be a 70 overall for the start of the next season, which is huge for Kent State when they started out as just a 62 in this rebuild. And for year 3, we're not going to change our schedule. I think we have a good shot to win a bunch of games. The games on our non-con schedule are going to be pretty easy. We have a couple at home and a couple on the road, and we face an FCS team, but I want to get some wins and hopefully keep boosting our school grades so we can keep bringing in better recruits. We only have 3 years left, so we need to start making a push for a conference playoff this season and hopefully a college football playoff appearance at the latest next year. And 3 games into season 3, we're actually doing really well. We got our butts kicked by UTEP, but we bounced back against Kennesaw State with a 42-14 win. And then against FCS West, we won 49-21. And we also set a school record for rushing touchdowns. Terrion Martin with 5 touchdowns on the night, and our rushing game looks a lot better than last season. I think in total our full offense looks a lot better. We were able to amount 515 yards against an FCS team and also 362 yards against Kennesaw State. So I think we're on the up and up, and if we can win 7 of our conference games, I think we're going to be a shoo-in for the conference title game and possibly get a back door into the college football playoff. But on the recruiting front, it's not looking too hot. We're doing the same strategy we did last season where we put a couple 4-stars that don't have any offered on the board. They probably have some behavior issues or academic stuff, but Kent State doesn't care about that crap. We just want good football players, but we're not really going to be able to bring many of them on a visit because they don't have any good deal breakers. Marvin Murray here has 1 green grade, and it's not even one that he likes. Same thing with Chad Waller. Playing time, he has proximity to home, so that's probably going to be something we invite him on, but we don't want to risk it just yet. Manzile Jim, halfback 3-star, doesn't have any either. And same thing for Marquez Foreman, a 3-star gym left edge that we're going to hopefully bring in this season. But scheduling visits is probably not going to be the way we get these guys. We're just going to hope that the 50 hours we put on them is going to be enough before the end of the year. And just the next week, we are losing out on Josh Deal because the playing style deal breaker. We rushed for 5 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, but he still doesn't want to come here I don't understand it. But with those extra hours we got from Manziel, we are going to get Tiquan here, a dual threat QB 4-star. We're going to bring him on a visit because he does have at least a B grade that'll give us some boost. We're going to bring him in week 7 against Miami of Ohio. So we'll be jumping into that game and seeing if we can take them down and get a good boost for him. And heading into this Miami of Ohio game, where we actually have won 4 games in a row, we also scored 53 in the last game against Ball State. And our passing game is looking elite this season with de Villiers throwing for 374 yards and 4 touchdowns in this one. And for the time being, we are sitting at the top of the conference tied with Toledo. And if we knock off Miami, we could be in first place all by ourselves. And even for visits this week, it's a huge week because we have 3 guys on a visit. The biggest of these 3 is going to be Chad Waller, a 4-star right tackle with Tennessee and Florida hot on our tails. And if we get a blowout win here, we could secure him the next week and not even have to worry about Florida or Tennessee coming back. We also have Scales coming on a visit, a dual threat quarterback, which would be huge for the program, and Akeem Beckner, a halfback who would be our second 4-star halfback in back-to-back seasons. And with both teams around 70 overall, it's going to be an evenly matched game, and I think we could be able to pull it out, especially if we played the way we have the last few games. And the first time we get to touch the ball in season 3 is going to be on 3rd and 7, right on the edge of the red zone. We're going to roll out to the right-hand side. Oh my gosh, he's wide open. Can he catch it? He does, and we get the first down, and we're inside the 10. And after that play, they're going to let us keep going here. We're going to see if an RPO can get us into the end zone. That's going to be a wide open man. He just doesn't have the speed to get to the edge. And with the way our run game has been going these last few games, I mean, we had 5 touchdowns in one game. We're going to see if we can get another one here. And there was a massive hole. We just couldn't get there quick enough. And at the end of the first quarter, 3rd and goal from the 6. We have a chance to score. Even if we don't score a touchdown, we can still get a field goal to tie it up. And that's just not going to be enough. We're going to get stopped right before the end zone. And Miami has been hot to start. They're up 10 to start the game, but we're in the red zone, or about to be in the red zone once again. And we're about to end the second quarter. And now our tight end has it. Can he get to the end zone? And he does. And that's going to be our first touchdown for us in season 3. And that gets us back within a score. And we have a hot hand going into half. But we could get more here. Hail Mary. They have 3 deep. Not really a shot here, but we're going to at least try it. What can we do? That's not even close to the end zone, but it's caught. Oh my God, it's caught. If that was in the end zone, that was a touchdown. I just want to show this because this is crazy. We just had that play and it put the next moment at the beginning of the next half. No kickoff, and we're at 1st and goal. Like, what is going on? And for the first time tonight, we're going to be on defense. If we can get a stop here, that'd be absolutely massive. We're going to press up 3rd and 8 inside the red zone. We can't get to the quarterback. Oh my God, that's a wide open man. They're going to get the first down. So after that last possession, they scored a touchdown. We were able to get a field goal. So we're within 5. We have a chance to take the lead. And after the handoff, we just didn't get off the line quick at all. And it's going to be a hold. So we're going to be going back 10 yards. And after that hold, we're going to be from 1st and 20 from the 28. Oh my goodness, wide open man. They were pressing up. Do we have it? He's going to catch it in the back of the end zone. And we have the touchdown and the lead for the first time tonight. And the team needs us once again, 3rd and 6 this time. De Villiers is hot. If we can score a touchdown here, get some points, it's going to give us a really good chance to come away with the win. Across the middle, off the mesh route, he catches it, but just 2 yards short. And our coordinator's getting a little ballsy. We could have settled for 3 to take this 6-point lead, but that's not going to help you in football. And the tight end on the little core route, and he catches it and gets down for the first down. And the 3rd downs keep coming. We do have a chance to keep running some clock here if we can get, oh my gosh, oh, wide open, man, he gets hit as he throws. Oh my goodness, that's happened before. We've thrown interceptions, so it sucks that we didn't complete the pass, but I'm glad we didn't get a pick off. And we weren't able to convert the field goal. It's 1st and 10, 2 minutes left in the game. They're going to try to run a 2-minute drill and get to our end zone. He breaks 1 tackle and a second, but we finally tackle him with a couple yards left, and they're going to go for it here. I think they're going to run it. I don't know. They could go for a pass. I don't want to get beat. They're going to go with the RPO action. They don't get the first down, so we have another chance to get a stop. They had the big boys on it. Are they going to run up the middle? We're blitzing right down the pipe, and we go. Oh, we called it, but he run. Oh, my goodness. He juked out our linebackers with the worst juke move ever. Now under 2 minutes. A 2-minute timeout has come and gone. We're up 3. We need to get a stop. If we lose this game on some BS, oh my goodness, he's wide open across the middle. I can't stand it. And they're going no huddle here. We have to make a stop. I don't know what we can do. We're going to go pass. They have a minute and a half left. They only need a field goal to tie. Touchdown wins them the game. We do have 3 timeouts. Oh, he's going deep. He's wide open. Oh, he overthrew him. Thank goodness. And after that almost touchdown, that would have been absolutely heartbreaking. But we would have had actually a little bit of time to come back and get a good possession. Oh, that could have been picked off. And if we would have gotten that pick off, that would have been game over. We could have just taken it to victory formation and got out of here with the win. But they're 3rd and 10. They have our chance. They're going to run the ball this time from the 10-yard. And they get it. They get the first down, and then oh my goodness, and we don't tackle him. What are we doing? We just absolutely lost the game. And after that absolute meltdown on defense, we had him dead to rights in the backfield, and we just threw it away. They're going to run. He's hit, but they catch it, and we get the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, at least this time. And I still can't believe that play, man. We had the game right there, and we just couldn't tackle him, but we get there for a second. He breaks the tackle. What is going on? And now 3rd and goal from the 6. They hike it. Can we get to him? Oh my God, everybody's right there. We get the sack. We get the sack. We're going to call a timeout. They're going to go for a field goal. Hopefully we can get the ball back and maybe get a field goal range. But nothing guaranteed in this game. CPU misses field goals all the time. Do they have what it takes to hit it in here? And it's up, and that one's going to be good right down the middle. And 1 play left, 5 seconds on the clock. The CPU wanted to run us out. But in this situation, I want to at least try to go for it because a big play could win us the game. It's 1-on-1 on the right-hand side. He doesn't get to it, and this one's going to overtime. And we're going to need to start recruiting guys that can make a tackle on the running back because they could have saved us the game and won us the game earlier. Could have got us a stop there, and we just can't keep letting it happen. And oh my goodness, he's got the edge, and he's going to score a touchdown. And after giving up that freebie, now we got a tough road ahead of us because we have to score a touchdown and make the field goal. But that is a wide open man. He gets caught up with his teammate, but he does get the first down. And with that, de Villiers does get over 350 yards passing tonight. He's been absolutely killer, the best player on the field all night. He gets another one. Oh my goodness, that could have been a touchdown, and that would have been huge. Even though our pass game has been massive, we're going to see if we can run it in here, and they go and bring the blitz, but they're not going to be there. We don't get the touchdown. We are so close. And the quarterback sneak may be a cheese play in college football 26, but they did change that for 27, so we're going to use it to our advantage here and get the touchdown. And we didn't have any success on first down, so it gets a little bit more hairy here. We still can get a touchdown or a field goal at least. And that's going to have a wide open man. Does he get to the end zone? He does. What a huge play, but we have to go for 2 and get the conversion. The moments didn't let us get, oh my goodness, the moments didn't let us play and we lost the game. It didn't even let us play defense or the 2-point conversion. What a way to blow it. And we were so close to getting the win. Oh my goodness. And Drew de Villiers still gets player of the game because he had an insane game. What a way to blow that win. And hopefully they fix that stuff in college football 27, but for now, we're just gonna have to stomach it and move on. We had an incredible game. We beat them in total offense by 10 yards. And again, the Drew de Villiers, our quarterback, had a killer game, nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. But our rushing game was really abysmal, only 34 yards for Martin, -17 de Villiers. And then tackling. We got to work on tackling. I think we're only going to recruit defensive players that can make tackles because we lost this game because we couldn't tackle the running back. And we got our first kid into the 2027 season. Marquez forming the 3-star gym defensive end. He's going to be huge for our defense, but I'm not sure how much time we'll have to develop since we're already on year 3. And as we were advancing the weeks, we saw our defensive overall drop 2 points. That's because Clyde Henderson is going to be injured for the rest of the season, and he already played 8 games this year, so he's not going to be able to be redshirted, or at least medically redshirted, so he's going to basically lose the rest of the season. He was a massive part of our defense, and with that elite dev trait, not sure how that'll affect his development this offseason. I was hoping he would jump up to something like 90 overall, but we may not see that. And we'll secure our 3rd 4-star of the offensive line. This time it's Chad Waller, a 6'6", well-rounded right tackle, and he's a massive addition. But he's not alone, as Marvin Murray also commits. The elusive route runner is going to be at 5'10" coming into the team, and he's also 4-star. He's going to be huge for our receiving game. We'll also see Joshua Manziel come back in, and we're going to be neck and neck on his playing style, so hopefully we can keep him around and keep the ball on the ground. And our last 3 games of the season are going to come against Akron, Central Michigan, and Ohio. And I think we're going to play against Akron because Central Michigan and Ohio are both lower rated than us. So is Akron, but they're a rivalry game and they're at the top of the conference. We're at 3-2 right now. And if we can steal these last 3 games and go 6-2, we have a good shot of making the conference championship game. And the injury bug bites us again. This time it's Amani Guy, our best recruit to date. The 4-star right tackle is going to go down with an injury he's done for the year as well. So that's 2 big time players that we won't see for the last half of the season. And we'll start this game in the second half. We're down a touchdown, and on 3rd and 6 in the red zone, we have a chance to get the touchdown, even the score open. That's a wide open man, and he's going to walk right into the end zone and get us tied right back up. And we were able to score another touchdown with the CPU, and this time we're going to get a stop. And with them in the red zone, getting that first stop was huge. Now we just got to get 2 more and keep them to a field goal here, and we can still keep the lead. But they've been pretty good. They've been able to get a lot of forward progression. That's going to be interception right up the middle, and that is going to be a massive play by the CPU there. And after that big interception, I thought we were going to be able to do something. We're going to pick up here with nearing in on the 2-minute warning, and we're going to see if we can get something going, and that's going to be overthrown. That was a wide open man. And that would have been huge if we could have got that play, but we just threw it over his grasp. Now it's another wide open man. This time it's a tight end. He just doesn't have the speed, but he gets us inside the 50. And now that the 2-minute warning's gone, we both still have 3 timeouts. So we're going to try to run the ball and at least get some yards, but also run the clock a little bit. And we get 2 yards there. But like I said earlier in this one, passing is our bread and butter. We've been so successful with it all season long. Can we get a couple more yards? That's not going to be a great play. And we definitely don't want to give the ball back here. They have plenty of time to get a touchdown and then some. We have a man across the middle. He catches it, but we don't get the first down, and they call a timeout. And on 4th and 1, we're going for it. It's a little bit risky of a play, but in this rivalry game, we don't want to give the ball back, and that is going to be a terrible blocking scheme from our linemen. And now we have to get a stop. Now we're on defense. We haven't been great on defense. We have to show up here with 1:20 left. We're in a zone coverage. We have pretty much everything covered. We've been able to pick him off one time this game, and that's going to be an interception. Oh my goodness, he freaking caught the tip. That was just a terrible pass by their quarterback, but they were able to tip it up and get the tip drill done. We had the user here on Beck, number 26, but they just didn't even attempt to catch the ball. And you can see here, he tips it, and the other guy just runs in and gets it and saves the day. Oh my goodness. And after that insane turn of events, there's 46 seconds left. They haven't called a timeout yet, and they're going to run the ball. And I think they're looking to kick a field goal here, but we got to get a stop. We're going to press up. We're going to try to keep them behind the line of scrimmage. Nothing really, nobody's open right now, but the running back is in the flat. Oh my goodness, our defender at least bats it down. And they kind of ran the timeout for themselves. Only 16 seconds left with 2 timeouts still. Not sure what the CPU's doing. They're going to put a man in motion. If we can get a stop here, I'm not sure their kicker has the leg to get it there, and we get a nice tackle, and they're going to call a timeout to kick a field goal. And we went ahead and iced the kicker from 40 plus yards away. Does he have the leg? It's up, and it's looking a little bit left. Oh my goodness, it sneaks in there barely, and that's going to be another loss. And I don't think we've won a game yet when we've taken the controller. And while the season hasn't really gone the way we wanted it to, this season has been pretty easy recruiting. We get a 3-star Dante McGrone as a free safety, a cover specialist. He'll be pretty solid for us. But the best one yet, Tequan Scales, a 4-star quarterback dual threat archetype that'll be here next season, and I am super excited to use him. I think he could change this program overnight, and we will definitely need it because we finished the season at 6-6 and 4-4 in the MAC. We're good for 6th place, so a lot better last season, and hopefully this season we can keep a lot more players than last year, especially the guys that we depended on this year to get us to at least a 6-6 record. Drew DeVilliers, he finished the season with nearly 3,000 passing yards and 20 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, which is really solid, and his deal breaker is still playing time, so he'll be back for next season unless something crazy happens. And we'll also see the return of Terrion Martin, our lead running back, who put up almost 1,000 yards, which is more than we saw all of our players put up last season. And also our 4-star Zach Stroud is going to be back as well, and he's just barely above that playing time threshold. And with another 4-star coming in, we should have a really good running back room. And even our top 2 receivers that can return will be returning. Wolford here, who almost had 1,000 yards. Gladding will be leaving at the end of the year. He is a senior, so we can't keep him regardless. And then Mustafa Homer, another sophomore who had a really solid season as well. And all the stars look to be aligning for next season. And even though the game has both of our coaches rated as D+, we're not going to be changing them, moving it to 6-6. And also with the abilities to have both being a recruiter and motivator. And I think we're in a good spot with our coordinators. And we'll go ahead and finish out upgrading all of our position groups that matter. We're not going to do kicker or punter because I don't really think those matter. We get receivers and tight ends all the way up to level 3, so they'll get a massive boost this offseason. And we'll finish up the regular season recruiting with a commitment from Joshua Manziel, a 3-star gym backfield threat halfback. And we just add more depth to that running back room that should be super dominant in the MAC next season. And another USC quarterback wins the Heisman. This time it's Marcel Reed. And I think this season was pretty much a bust, but we do make a bowl game. We'll be taking on Georgia State, and we'll hop in and see if we can get this a 7th win and make this season a winning season for the first time in I think like 5 or 6 years. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at our high school recruiting before the transfer portal, and we'll finish 4th in the conference, 53rd in the country, 4 4-stars, the most in the MAC again, three stars, and that should go up once we hit the transfer portal. We've been really successful in the transfer portal, and I don't think that's going to stop this year. And if we get this win, that'll be huge for our program and really boost our championship contender grade and really help us get recruits the last 2 seasons. And for the first time today, we'll touch the ball on the 3-yard line with a couple minutes off the clock already. We're just going to give the ball to Martin, and he's going to get in the end zone for our first score, and hopefully this is going to be an absolute blowout for us. And at the end of the first half, we were up like 23-0, but they made a massive comeback, and they're only down 8 points, so we're going to have to burn a lot of clock here. And there's the freshman Zach getting a nice run, but they're going to call a timeout to stop the clock. And hopefully this last little bit of playing time can keep Stroud around. He was on the threshold of being a transfer. I don't think he will transfer, but you never know with these games because they always like to change things up at the last second. But we get a huge first down right there, and we're gonna be calling his number a ton in these last 3 minutes. If he can get a ton of good plays like this one, the juke move was terrible, but he does get us 9 yards. And now Georgia State's out of timeout, so 1 first down should do it. They still get the 2-minute timeout, but Zach Stroud chucked his feet and gets us the first down. Sometimes I don't understand the logic of the CPU. They had us take a knee, and I thought we had enough or a little time on the clock left, and I thought it would just call the game, but now we've ran 2 plays, and now there's an injury timeout, and there's still 1:20 left on the clock. So even with 2 first downs in less than 3 minutes and no timeouts from the defense, they still have a chance to get something here. Oh my gosh, I thought we got the tip drill this time. And now we have to settle for this crazy field goal. Let me go ahead and lock in and hit this right down the pipe. But they have a good man, and he almost blocks it, but that's going to be a hit kicker, and that hits the crossbar. Thank goodness they hit the kicker, and he's celebrating. His coach is furious on the sideline. And now we can take the knee. I don't know why I called it the hit the kicker penalty, but it's definitely roughing the kicker. And finally, we'll take the knee and get the win, and we get our first bowl win of the rebuild. Hopefully that means some great things going into next season and get us our first conference title win or appearance, hopefully win, and maybe a backdoor into the playoffs. And also a little bit of news after that game, Drew DeValier passes the all-time season passing record for yards this season. I think he was right around 3,000, and that game got him above. We'll take a look here in a second, but what a performance from our first-year QB. And there he is. I don't know what the old record was, but 3,285 yards. A pretty impressive performance with a team that's only 71 overall. And for the third playoffs, Lincoln Riley and Marcel Reed get over the hump and finally get USC a long-awaited national title. And this is my biggest concern bringing in those 4 stars. They're probably going to leave after 1 season. And this is unfortunate because Leach has a playing style deal breaker, and we're 1 or 2 letter grades right below. We're going to at least try to convince him we have 4 persuades. He's not been persuaded. Same thing with Christic. We are right on the edge. He needs a B- for conference prestige. He doesn't want to stay either. Come on, guy. Can you do it? He's not been persuaded, so we're going to lose 3 of our 4 stars that we brought in last season. At least we brought in 4 this year, but I hate seeing these guys go. And for our third transfer portal, we'll at least have some 3-star interest in us. This should make this a little bit easier to get some good guys. For the last couple ones, we have only had 2 stars or lower, so this should be a little bit easier for us. And this class was absolutely nuts. We just keep getting better and better and better every single year. Starting us off, Bryce Baker, a star development, dual threat QB, could be our starter next year. I'm not sure yet. Akeem Beckner, elite dev, 4-star contact seeker halfback. I'm interested to see his speed coming in. And then Tony Christic, we got him back in the transfer portal. He had teams like Georgia, Florida looking at him, but nobody really offered him a scholarship, so we swooped in and got him. And then we also got a Monty guy back, elite dev again, so he'll be back on the team for another year. And then Chad Waller, a star dev, well-rounded right tackle, 4-star, and also Tequan Scales, a dual threat quarterback, star dev as well. So we have a really deep QB room as well. And the rest of this class is really solid. I don't think we have anybody else like really to talk about. Well, actually, Joshua Manziel, a gem, 3-star running back. He just adds more depth to our RB room. And also we have Cortez Brooking, a star dev trait, 83 speed. Doesn't have the greatest speed in the world. Would love to see that go up, but he is going to add just another layer to our running back room where we've seen a couple injuries in the last few years. And as it was pretty much predicted by anyone at this point, we get the #1 recruiting class in the conference, the only 4 stars, and we got 4 of them, 27 3-stars, absolutely crushing the competition in the MAC. And we also finished top 35 in the country this year. We were just outside of that last year, I think at number 36, and we just keep improving. Next year, hopefully we can get to top 25, but I'm really excited about what we can do going into next season. And I just spoke a second ago about what Beckner's speed would be, and it's a 91, the fastest on the team. We haven't had a running back above 90. He's going to be killer for us. And we've been lucky the last few years. We really haven't had to make any position changes, but we're changing Mark Nave Jr. here from a right tackle to a left guard. It's going to give him 1 boost to his overall. That's going to clear up space for Chad Waller to start next season, which is going to be huge for us. And another season means Rollison will upgrade his dev trait once again, this time to a star, and he just keeps getting better and better every season. And he's not the only one. We also see Buchanan get his upgraded from a normal to an impact, and go ahead and make it a trifecta as Harrison also upgrades his. And we're going to keep going. Another one, Mac is going to upgrade his to impact. And after that crazy upgrade session for the dev traits, we're going to see the training results, and another season means another crazy jump from some players. Henderson goes up 5. I would love to see him get a 90, but he did get injured at the end of the season, so that's probably why he didn't go up. He does get a boost to 7 to his speed, and that's going to be killer as a defensive tackle, especially as pure power. He'll also upgrade 2 of his physical stats to gold, which is huge. Wolford, our leading wide receiver last year, goes up 3. De Villiers, our starting QB, goes up 8 this offseason. He's going to be a killer for us as a senior. Rollison with that upgraded dev trait also goes up 7, and we have a ton more. And then Awesome with the 15-point jump from 67 to 82, gets a 4 boost to his speed, and that is absolutely absurd. Amani guy, who we just brought back, goes up 7 as well. And I could talk about a lot of these for a long time because these are some crazy improvements, and we're going to be way higher than a 71 this year. And we're going to have so much depth at pretty much every position. And we'll hit a 77 overall. That's what I'm talking about. Offense at 79, which is huge. And you can see our breakdown here. De Villiers is going to be our starter. Baker as his backup as an 82. 280 plus overall quarterbacks is crazy. Martin here just below an 80 overall. Stroud as an RB2. Beckner coming in as an RB3, so he might get redshirted. We might move him up just because of that speed. The wide receiver room's looking nice as well. 3 guys above 80. Henderson goes up to an 88. And I could just keep talking on and on about this team, but it's going to be a killer year for us. And we should be the best in the conference by a long shot. And I thought it was going to be a lot bigger spread, but Ball State's a 72 overall, Akron's 72, Miami's at 70, Buffalo's at 71. We're all the way up at 77, so we do have a clear lead above them. But even the top schools are kind of keeping on our tail with not even close to the same type of recruiting classes we're getting. And last year's schedule was really easy, but this year we go on the road to Rutgers, App State, and Kentucky, all out of non-conference. We do have an FCS team in there, and I do think we have a good chance to get 3 wins out of conference against 2 Power 5 teams and a really solid G5 team as well. And if we can go 4 for 4 out of conference, we'll have a really good chance to make the playoffs. And this season, we'll also see our first couple of preseason All-Americans. We haven't really had any in the years past, but this year we have 3 of them, Guy, Yerby, and Henderson, all 3 elite players on our team. And we were able to find 1 3-star gem this year, Enrique Morris, a free safety who we need this year, and he could be a good addition to our secondary. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going with the same strategy in the 3rd year in a row. And we're going to see if we can get more 4-stars. The max that we've gotten is 4. We have, I think, 8 on the board right now, and if we can get at least half of them, we'll tie it. If we get 1 more, we'll have a new record here with 4 stars at Kent State. And with Master Motivator maxed out to where we can go, we don't really need to upgrade anything else. We're gonna go a little bit different here and go for Tactician and unlock it. We could go Recruiter, but we already have 2 recruiters on the team that give us better scouting, and that's really the only ability you need in that tree. But getting Tactician will allow us to get passive boost to our players and basically get a fake upgrade to them and let them play better, especially when we're trying to make a push to the postseason. And I think schools are starting to overlook the same things we're overlooking, so we're gonna have to take them off this board because there's no way we can compete with Notre Dame where we are right now. But we have had success with other 4-stars, one of them being Cantu here. We're bringing him on a visit week 7. We're also bringing Matt McCrary on a visit as well, and we're in competition here with Northwestern, but we did bump him up to 50 hours, so we should see that go up. And I think we'll also get Morris to commit before he even comes on a visit, which is going to be huge, especially as a 3-star gem. And we'll get Morris to commit as a 3-star free safety gem. He's going to be huge for our secondary. And after we just talked about how we're struggling this year with 4-stars, we see Jared McClendon lock us out because Ole Miss is on his tail now. We also see Gabriel Hurt potentially take us off his list because his deal breaker isn't being met. And also Roderick Cotton, another 4-star, a top 200 player at cornerback. We see Texas on his tail now as well. We did already invite him on a visit before then, and I think if we have a big win against Central Michigan, we could bring him in since there's already 4 other guys on a visit. And to start the season off, after an absolute butt kicking to Rutgers 42-7, we're on a 4-game win streak, and we also beat Kentucky on the road 24-23. And we were going to jump into this game to give us a boost, but I'm glad we didn't because we'll have another game to play after we play Central Michigan this week. But this game was massive for the program, one of the first P5 wins they've had in a long time. We had 350 yards in total offense. They had a little bit better in terms of running game with 185 yards on the ground, but we were close as well with 150. I'm kind of surprised we were that well in the run game. We typically don't do well. DeVilliers 200 yards, 1 touchdown, not the greatest day with the 50% completion percentage. Martin and Stroud both getting in the run game with 85 and 52 yards respectively, and Stroud had 2 touchdowns as well. So this is a killer performance, and I'm really glad we didn't waste the game we play on that because we could have very much realistically done that. And that win against Kentucky is going to be a feather in our cap that the committee is going to have to look at the end of the season if we can win out in the MAC and also win the conference championship. And this week against Central Michigan means big things as well because Cotton's on a visit, and so is Cantu, which we're not really worried about him. And then also McCrary, a 3-star guy who we want to get for our secondary, but Northwestern's making a massive push, and not getting him here could lose us the recruit. And this game against Central Michigan wasn't even close. We beat them 36-3. We probably should have saved this game towards the end, but I wanted to be here just to make sure we got the win since we had so many recruits on a visit, and I'm glad we did get the big blowout because that's going to get this biggest boost to those 4 recruits. And the game was so lopsided, we even got Bryce Baker in, and he threw for 114 yards and a touchdown, our only passing touchdown today. And on the rushing side, Martin with the century mark 116. Stroud came in as well and got 65. And Rollison with the career interceptions record here to Kent State. What a massive achievement for a guy who's been on the team since the very beginning. And Rollison has put up 20 in his career, so that's going to set the record for Kent State. He already has 5 this season. I'm excited to see how many more he can get. And the blowout win will secure Matt McCrary. That's going to be another addition to our secondary for next season. And after that big win against Central Michigan, we'll be tied for first place with 3 other teams. We don't play Akron, Ball State, or Buffalo this year, so a couple of us could go undefeated and make a weird tiebreaker situation. Hopefully we don't have to rely on some of the other schools to do that and beat them down. Hopefully they can just lose themselves. I mean, Buffalo's 3-3 already, so they'll probably slide a little bit. And Ball State and Akron play week 9, and hopefully we'll have fate in our hands and get us to the conference championship game. And what's that saying about counting your chickens before your egg hatch? We lost to UMass on the road by a field goal. Somehow, someway, after absolutely obliterating Central Michigan, they're not even a good team. They held us to 276 total yards, less than 100 yards rushing, and our pass game was less than 200 yards. I mean, this is just an abysmal performance from a team who's been really exceptional and I thought was going to make a easy run to the title game. And I think our first 4-star commit of the year is going to be Gabriel Hurd, a free safety. He's going to be a huge addition to the secondary where we've already had a couple signees that are really good for next year. And for the first college football playoff rankings, we're not ranked, but Toledo's ranked 21st, and they're the 5th highest ranked champion just ahead of Boise State, which I'm just not realizing we never put into the Pac-12, but that's besides the point. And if we can win out and possibly win the conference playoff over maybe a Toledo, we could sneak in and get a backdoor appearance in the college football playoff. And another week means another 4-star signing. This time it's on the defensive line with Jamarcus Cantu. He's going to be massive. We also get another defensive line teammate with him in Mike Bryan, a 3-star. He'll be big as well because we really need some help on the defensive end. And another 4-star commits. This time it's Roderick Cotton, a cornerback, and we were able to hold off Texas and Cal and keep him interested and bring him into Kent State. And as we head into week 12, we're going to actually play this game. It's going to be against Ohio. We're playing this one instead of week 13, even though we have a couple visits on both, because Nick Trupuka is going to be coming on a visit. He's a top 150 wide receiver. He could be a huge addition, but we definitely have a tough road ahead of us with Auburn and Houston hot on our tails, and we're not even in the top 3 yet. While I don't have high hopes for him, we still have a chance to get Landon Sahursky. We only have UMass's competition. Even though they were able to beat us, we should land him. Adrian Kiki and David Chush should come into the team and keep rounding out this great recruiting class, probably our best yet. I know I keep saying that, but we just keep improving every season. Right now, this is what the conference looks like. We're 8-2 overall, 5-1 in the conference, and we're tied with Buffalo. We don't play them this season, so we're going to hope that they have to lose or somehow get the tiebreaker at the end of the year. But first, we'll have to play this game against Ohio and hopefully get the big win over the Bobcats, and we'll be able to jump into this one one is our last game we can play this season. And that's the second game this season we didn't need to jump into, but I'm glad we were there just in case. And we're going to beat them by 38 points. This could be a massive boost to the couple recruits we brought on a visit this week, and hopefully secure a couple more. I'm not sure, I didn't look before the game, but I think we have one or two. We had 421 total yards of offense, got above the century mark in rushing. It was a good game all around. De Villiers had 316 passing yards with 6 touchdowns tonight. He was absolutely insane. And we'll get the Chus signing this week. He's going to come in as a 3-star cornerback for us, and he should be a big addition to our secondary. And there we go. For the first time in this rebuild, we'll be in the MAC championship game. We'll be able to jump in that one since it's the postseason, and we'll be taking on number 18 ranked Ball State. And after the major loss at Rutgers, we already looked at earlier in the season, I'm honestly surprised we did as well as we did. If we didn't lose that UMass game earlier in the year, we would be 11-1 and more than likely ranked 8-0 in the conference, but we finished out strong, and we'll be playing Ball State like we just said. This could have huge implications because Boise State lost and fell out of the top 25, and Ball State's the 5th highest rated conference champion right now, so if they win, they are in. But they do have Tulane and North Texas here, both at 9-3, right at the edge of the top 25. And if we take a look at the media poll, we are at the 26th spot with 221 votes. And if the stars align right at the edge of the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings, and we could sneak in if we beat Ball State. And even though we're the second team ranked in the conference and not ranked in the country, I feel like we're the clear favorite here on paper. And we also have a bigger win than them against Kentucky on the road. So our resume is definitely better. And I feel like the MAC conference wants us in instead of Ball State. And I was just reading up on a little bit of history. Kent State has only made the MAC title game twice before, and both times they've lost to NIU. Gladly, we are not facing them or facing Ball State, so hopefully we have a chance to get this win and get the first title in Kent State history. And only halfway through the second, this game looks to be closed out already, and they're going to give us the sticks on third down to see if we can get the conversion. That's a wide open man across the middle. He's going to have a lot of green guys. He's going to dive for you, but he doesn't get it. He gets stopped at the 1-yard line. And after that big play by Martin, we gave him the rock on first down, but he wasn't able to get anything done, so we're going to go back to the pass game with the RPO, and that is wide open. He only needed to break one to tackle, and he got absolutely ran over. And there's no way we don't get a score here, a touchdown, and that's going to be another RPO. This time it does get in, and we're going to go up 24-0. Hopefully that's enough to get this win. And it was. We honestly went on to just do more damage to him. 34-16. We're going to take it easily. They did get a couple touchdowns there in the second half. But honestly, when you're running up the score, you're not really focused on defense too much. And the Kent State will win the first conference championship title in their history. They did win one in 1972, but it was a regular season title. They didn't have a tournament game back then, so they're going to get their first. And hopefully this gets us into the playoff. I know it's a long shot, but we could be close. And also with that title game, we also see Drew De Villiers get the passing touchdowns record for Kent State. He's been an impressive all 3 seasons he was here. And unfortunately, we won't make it in year 4, but we are on a good pace to make it for year 5, and that's going to be our final year of this rebuild. So hopefully all the recruiting and building this team from the ground up really pays off, and I'm hopeful that we can at least get in. Making a deep run is going to be difficult because teams like Clemson, Oregon, Miami, Auburn, all those teams are 90+ overall. It's going to be a tough task even win 1 game, let alone 4 going into the title game. And for Heisman number 4, it's going to be a wide receiver this time, Taylor, 109 receptions, 1,800 yards almost, 11 touchdowns for the Bulldogs. And we'll also get our first award of the year, the Jim Thorpe Award, going to Rollison this season. 8 interceptions, 53 tackles, and 15 deflections. And we'll take on San Diego State in the Arizona Bowl this season. And while this definitely is in the college football playoff and it's a little bit disappointing, at least we can go in and get another win and hopefully get to 12 wins this season. And the team took this one to heart, scoring on basically all but 2 possessions, and they get a 38-9 win, winning by 31 points. And they honestly kind of proved that they maybe should have been in the college football playoff over like a Tulane who went 9-3. And Cade Walford's also going to set a record here, and that's going to be career receptions, which is absolutely insane. And he'll end his career with 230 receptions. And De Villiers only started for us the last 2 seasons, but he had a crazy career here. Over 6,500 passing yards, 57 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions, where he only threw 1 this season, which is just absurd. And we'll have to replace him this year, but hopefully Bryce Baker's up to the challenge. And on the run game side, Terrion Martin gets 1,228 yards, and he's only a junior, so if he's back for another season, he'll be really nice, especially Zach Stroud should be returning as well. He's only got 241, but he's a stellar backup for us. And while Wolford is leaving because he's a senior, we still have David Awesome, who's only a freshman redshirt, and he had 826 receiving yards. And also Mustafa Homer, if he doesn't go into the draft, which I don't think he will, he'll be back with 907. And obviously Rollison, who set a career interception record here, he's going to be leaving at the end of the year. But we still have a very good class behind him, and also guys coming in this season. And here's what the first 4 seasons look like. We only have one more to get the challenge done, but 5-7 in the first, and then down to 2-10, but we're all the way up to 12-2 the next 2 seasons. And hopefully the next jump's going to be a college football playoff appearance, and hopefully a national title as well, because I really don't want to give this game away. And even though we didn't make the playoff, we do finish in the top 25 to end the season, ranked number 24th. And looking at the records, I feel like we should have been ranked a little bit higher than some of the teams. You have G5 schools like Tulane at 11-4 at 19, Louisiana, who's 11-2 at number 18. And I feel like just outside of on paper, we were definitely a better team. Then again, we remember we beat Kentucky on the road by 1, which should be a huge resume booster. But sometimes the game just does some weird things, and hopefully they fix that in college football 27. And here's the college football playoff breakdown. Georgia finally gets back on top, and they're going to be the 2028 national title winners. And I think, again, this is a new matchup we haven't seen yet, so there's a ton of parity in the last 4 years. And now we're at their off season, we can already see we're going to have issues. We have Guy back on the transfer portal, possibly Christic as well. Henderson is possibly going to go as well. He's our best rated player, so this could cause some bumps in the road going into the future. And now we're at the worst part of the offseason, seeing who's going to leave. Henderson's going to leave, even though he needs playing time, and he's going to be playing every game. I don't understand why this logic is in the game, but since we have 8 persuasions, we're going to try to persuade him he's not. And this just doesn't make sense. He's a starter. He's 88 overall. Obviously, he's going to be starting on our team. So why isn't his grade good enough? I just don't understand. Please fix this, EA, in college football 27. But we also see Imani Guy, who has conference prestige. Same thing with Christic. We brought both these guys back last year in the transfer portal, so maybe we can do it again. If not, we're going to have a tough time replacing these guys. And we're also seeing a ton of freshmen transfer as well. Most notably Ticon Scales of 4-star, who we brought in last year as a possible QB of the future, but I don't think he'll be playing anytime in this rebuild, which is unfortunate, but not the worst thing in the world. We'll have 29 players transfer, and we're going to try to persuade all 8 of these guys. We're going to try to persuade all top of the guys, just because what's the point not to? I know look, some of the years past we haven't, but we're 0-4 to start, and that's not going to be looking good. And we went 0-8, so nobody's going to be returning, and we're going to lose 29 players in total, and we're going to have to replace a lot of these guys in the transfer portal. In the final draft, the rebuild, we don't get another draftee. I haven't shown any because we haven't had any, but I wanted to update you all that are still here. We don't get a single draft pick, which is crazy because I feel like we definitely had some great players this last few years that could have gone in the draft. And here we are with our final class. They may not be as impactful as other ones, but they still are going to be hopefully pretty solid. Nick Trapuka, a 4-star wide receiver, comes in with an elite dev trait. He's a contested specialist, so he's a big guy. He should be able to go over a lot of the smaller defenders that are going to be in the MAC this year. We also brought Christic back for a 3rd season. We're spending hours on him. We probably should spend on somebody else, but I love bringing him back just because it's funny. We also have Paul Shelley, a right guard who's going to be a star dev, but as a 3-star, he may not play much this year. And another star dev trait, Landon Zahersky, a Sam Thumper linebacker, which is huge. Enrique Morris, a 3-star gem, only comes as an impact dev trait, but he does have 2 mentals, which is pretty nice. And that's it for the rest of this class. I think it was pretty solid. Definitely not as good as the past couple of years, but it's honestly not that big of a deal. We got another 4-4-star, so I think that's 16 in this rebuild, which is absolutely huge. They're the only ones that are in the conference. We have 27 3-stars as well, which is the most in the conference. We finished 37 in the country, which again is I think a little lower. I think we got 34th or 35th or maybe even 36th last year, but the top guys should play right away, and we should still have a good base below them. And interesting enough, we've only signed 1 athlete in this rebuild. It's going to be Glikowski. We're going to move him to tight end. He gets a little bit of a boost over a wide receiver. He's also going to be a vertical threat tight end, which should be huge for us in the pass game. And even though we did bring Christic back this year, we weren't able to bring Imani Guy back. He bumped up to a 4-star, and he goes to Nebraska. And Clyde Henderson as well, another guy who transferred. He was our highest rated player, 88 overall, and that didn't even give him a 5-star, which is kind of crazy, but he goes to Oregon. And the same thing as last few years, we get a couple more depth trade upgrades. Brightwell goes to Impact, and I thought there were going to be more, but he was the only one. But now we're into the training routes, and David Awesome jumps 10 points to 93 overall, number 1 player on the team. He was a 3-star gem with elite dev trait. He's been improving like crazy these last 2 years. Unfortunately, his deal breaker is proximity home, but we're not going to have to worry about that. If we did continue this longer, it would have sucked seeing him go after the year, especially when you have proximity to home as a deal breaker. Yerby goes up to an 89, Dunham up to an 86. Christic jumps 6 points as well. We also get Bryce Baker, our QB1 this year. His first year starting, he'll be an 83 with 90 speed. We also see another wide receiver jump up 4 points and get a speed rating of 95 with acceleration of 96, and he's going to be electric on the outside. And then in the run department, Sean Patrick's going to be our RB1 this year, jumping over Martin, who only went up 1 point, so got jumped by 3 players, Stroud and McGarity, who jumps 5 points into second place. He probably won't see a lot of the field since he's only 81 speed. We'll probably have Stroud there instead. But all in all, I think a really solid team, and we have a ton of depth, and I think we may even get our overall all the way up to 80. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but this is going to be our best year to get the college football playoff appearance we need, and also it's our last, so it's not really anything else we can do. I don't think we have enough to possibly win a national title at the end of the year, but this is definitely a good start. And before the season starts, we'll get a couple more upgrades, 3 to be exact. We're going to go 3 into defensive line. We lost Henderson this year, so we're going to need massive improvements on the defensive line to help us in this run to the title game. And we don't start the season out in the top 25, but we are right on the outside around that 30-31 mark, so we could make the jump if we win a couple games in a row. And this is what our schedule will look like this year. Southern Miss, Oregon State, FCS East, and we also get Miami back in the fold, but they're coming to Kent State to play, so this could be a massive win for us if we can sneak out a win against a top-ranked team. And we'll also start the season out at 82 overall, so we went a little bit higher than I thought we did, and we went up from a 62 to an 82 in just 5 seasons. That should be huge and should play a major factor in us making a deep push into the playoffs. And now 4 games in the season, we're on a pretty hot run. We beat Oregon State 41-6, but we're headed into the Miami game, and they're number 2 ranked in the country, and they're not going to be a pushover, but we have worked our way up all the way up to rank 20 in the country, and that's huge for the program. But with the overalls this lopsided, it's not going to be an easy task, but we hopefully have what it takes to take down Miami. If we beat them and win out, we are going to be a shoe-in and could even be ranked in the top 4 and get a bye, because I think if we go 12-0 with a big win against a top 2 team in the country, there's no way they can keep us outside of it. And this is easily the biggest game in Kent State history. They may have had a ranked team come in and play them, maybe like an Ohio State or Cincinnati way back in the day, but definitely not when they were ranked in the top 20 in the country. And this is also one of the first games I've seen where we've actually sold out every seat in the stadium, which is pretty funny. And this is going to be a big test for us. If we can actually get a win here, it really can mean that we can maybe make a deep run, because they're probably one of the best teams in the country, and we're going to get a big 3rd down stop here. And since this is the biggest game ever in Kent State, we're actually going to probably play most of the moments. I mean, we've been skipping a couple in the past couple years, but not today. We don't get a ton there, but we do get 2 yards on our first drive. And the CPU left us off in a good spot. I mean, we were inside the 10, so it's definitely way better than I probably would have done with the sticks. And that's going to be a wide open man across the middle. Can he catch it? He breaks a tackle too, and he gets in for the score, and we're up against the number 2 team in the country. And like I said, we're going to try to play every moment that they give us. They give us a ton, especially on 3rd down. So we definitely could make a big influence here. And that just, oh my gosh, he was way off him, but he still hit the tackle. And after that nasty drop by their wide receiver, I know the coach is fuming right now, but on 3rd and 8, we actually had a run set up. I'm not sure why. So we're going to audible slants and see if we can steal a 1st down here. I don't know if we have the leg for a deep field goal, but that's going to be a wide open man. He's going to cut back and get even more yards. And Bryce Baker is looking like prime DeValier. He has 110 yards already, and he's definitely taking over the reins in a good way. Oh my goodness, our running back's going to spin move and juke that guy out. And even though that spin move was nasty, we didn't get a ton of yards from it, but we got enough to get something productive, and that's going to be a nice RPO, and a good block by the wide receiver gets us to 3rd and 2 and on the 10. And now we're pretty much guaranteed a field goal, so we can go up a touchdown, but I would love to get another touchdown here. He's going to break a tackle and get in the end zone, and we scored 2 touchdowns on Miami here at home. And our CPU keeps doing it, man. They are absolutely shutting down the Miami offense. And if we have a good chance here, oh my goodness, it's right to the, oh my goodness, way to cut back and get that reception. And after converting that 1st down, we get the ball back after 1 play. We had a huge play, a run play, I guess, but oh my goodness, another good play here. And the running back gets us inside the 5, and we are so close to a touchdown. And Patrick got us inside the 5 on a great run, and we have another chance to go up 21-3, but their defense is just too quick. And the transfer Patrick's having a good game, already up to 60 yards. He could go for the century mark, and that's a wide open man, but he's out of bounds. And that could have been a huge play if he just stayed inside the white lines, but it wasn't to be there. But that one is there this time, and that's another passing touchdown, and we're up 21-3, and this could be a 21-0 skunk if we score another touchdown or a field goal. And I keep telling y'all, the CPU is doing a crazy job. We haven't played any of the drives outside the last few possessions into the drive, and that's going to be another touchdown. It's not even me on the sticks. Our team is just doing crazy things on the field. But Coach Chris Ball must have said something during the 3rd quarter, because they are back within 10 or 11 points, so we get the 1st down to keep the drive alive. And we have another chance here to just extend the drive, but it's 3rd and 10 this time, so this one's not going to be easy by any means. But the defender just let that guy get wide open, and we get it. And knock on wood here, I don't think their secondary is as good as year past. I mean, I know they're a 95 overall on offense and defense, but they are just not there, and they don't have that one, and we're inside the 5 on 1st and goal. And I came into this season pretty pessimistic, but being up 11 points in the 4th quarter and on the 2-yard line and where we could possibly score a touchdown and even maybe a field goal, and we almost get the touchdown there. And with that last run, Patrick does break the century mark. You may have seen it down the right-hand corner. If you didn't, he hit that mark, and he's going to get another touchdown. I think that's his like 2nd or 3rd this game, and we're up a ton now, and we have a good chance of winning this one. And we haven't been on defense in a minute, but it's 4th and 15. We backed up the secondary. We are looking to have a chance to get a stop here and put them on a turnover on downs inside our side, and that's going to be an interception. I guess it didn't really matter because we were getting the ball back either way, but that's a huge momentum swing. But luckily that glitch didn't break the game for us and make us lose. We're up 10 points, 3 seconds left. There's just nothing they can do. We're just going to stick 3 as far back as we can. They're going for a Hail Mary. They're going to chuck it up. I'm interested to see what happens to this. It's going to be another interception, and that's how we're going to seal this win out against Miami. And this went from the biggest game ever to the biggest win ever as we take down the Hurricanes, and we are 5-0 to start this season, one of the best starts ever, and we should be a shoo-in for the top 15, maybe even a jump to the top 10. And they were definitely mounting a comeback in the 2nd half, but the fact that we were able to hold them under 400 yards where we got 430, they did have a decent run day with 131 yards, but their pass game was really abysmal. We outpaced them by 100 yards. And a huge shout out to Baker. He had a 60% completion percentage, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but we'll let him slide on that one. But the run game was where it was at. Sean Patrick, the transfer with platinum safety valve, comes in and just absolutely takes over the game. 3 touchdowns, 104 yards. Just a huge performance. And that'll drop Miami from 2nd to 10th, and it bumps us up to 15th, the highest rated place I think Kent State has ever been, even when Nick Saban was there. And I just looked it up. They were ranked 18th one point in 2012 during the BCS era, but this is their highest rank since then or ever, actually. And I haven't touched on recruiting much this year because we're letting it go on auto recruit. Since we're not playing next year, we're not going to recruit. And I'm glad that I haven't been looking, because look at this. We have 2 stars on the boards. We haven't had 2 stars on the board since the 1st season. They only have a 4-star that's even interested in them. This is just an abysmal, and I just don't even want to look at it any longer. And for the first college football playoff rankings, we're ranked 16th, but we are the #1 G5 score, the #5 conference champion. That's not saying we're going to win it, knock on wood, but that is what we are rated right now. We do have Boise State behind us again. I never changed them from the Mountain West to the Pac-12. It is what it is. I didn't want to change the last season of this, but they're at 20th, and those are the only 2 schools that are the top 5 national championship. We're 8-0, they're 7-1, so if we keep winning out, we'll definitely be in, but we got to win to be in, because I don't want to lose and risk it possibly not, and not even getting a chance to make a run. I don't really have any words. I'm disappointed beyond measure. We lost by 1 point to Ball State. And we killed them. No, we didn't kill them, but we won every statistical category basically except for passing yards, and they had a 15-point 4th quarter to come back and win by 1. I can't believe it. But luckily, Boise State also sucks. They lost a game, but Southern Mississippi is hot on our tails. They're 21st. We dropped to 18th though, so we still are a shoo-in as long as we keep winning. Do y'all hear this? We need to win. Oh my God. We lost again, 30-31. We lost by 1 point. And again, we lead in total offense. They had a 10-point 4th quarter. We had 14. But oh my God, and we're not ranked anymore. We dropped out of the top 25. And luckily we did bounce back after 1 week. And I didn't even really think about it last week, but I want to look at it now. We're 5-2. We could have really been in a bad situation because we lost 2 conference games, and we could have been not in the top 2. So we wouldn't even had a chance to get in the college football playoff. We couldn't even been in the title game to be a champion, but gladly we're still tied. If we win this last game this week, we could have a chance to make it. And we make it, thank goodness. We take on Buffalo in the MAC title back-to-back years. If we can be back-to-back champions, that'll be better. But let's look at the top 25. I'm not sure where we stand. And we're not saying they get a good situation. Florida International is 16th, and they just had a 50-21 blowout versus Liberty. And then Southern Miss, 11-1, just had a 42-20 win against Troy, and they're 1 spot ahead of us. So we're gonna need both of them to lose this week. And I didn't realize, I guess I didn't see them, but UTEP's also ranked. So they're ranked ahead of us as well. So this doesn't look like we're going to have a chance to even make it into the college football playoff, because no matter who wins this Conference USA game, they're going to be ranked ahead of us. So after a massive start to the season, we could just have blown this away, losing to 2 MAC teams who we had higher overall than by like 10 points. And And we blow out Buffalo 45-10, and I'm just now realizing we never did play a second regular season game. I don't think we would have jumped into either of those games, so I'm not going to think about it too much. But we did win this game, so that's what we need to do. Now we just need some luck to come on our side and jump ahead either of FIU or UTEP, who's ranked ahead of us and both playing in the same conference championship game. And unfortunately for us, but fortunately for you all, we don't even make the college football playoff to even have a chance to make a deep run. FIU will finish 16th and they'll get the 5th auto bid into the playoff. Tulane also finished ahead of us, so we probably wouldn't even got it. For some reason, they ranked FIU below us, or if UTEP won, they fell 3 spots, they probably would have been ahead of us. The funny thing I do want to point out, though, is that Miami is #1 in the country, and we beat them this season, so we really had a good shot to make a deep run if we made it, because we're the only team that was able to beat the #1 team in the country, and we did so by 10. Even though they were probably mounting a comeback there towards the end, but we were able to hold them off. And Miami even ends up winning the national title here in our final season. So again, I think if all things would have worked our way, we could have had a good shot of making a deep run, and FIU gets absolutely destroyed by Auburn, which was predicted. And we'll finish ahead of them in the rankings, so I guess it's just a silver lining, but it doesn't really matter much because you all are going to be getting a free copy of College Football 27. So enter the link down below. It's in the description of the video. Be sure to do that. And either on the actual super early release, the 7-day early release, or the day after, so either the second or the third, we'll release a video, and at the beginning of the video, we'll announce the winner, and we'll get in contact with you all and reach out to you and get that game to you. And just to wrap up here, we'll just cover a couple things these final seasons and close this video out. And we actually did end up beating Illinois in the Xbox Bowl for our 3rd bowl win of the rebuild, which I guess is a good thing. Again, I would love to have made it. I think we could have made a deep run. And this is what our trophy room looks like. We won 2 rivalry games against Akron. We won 2 MAC championships. We won 3 bowl games. We also got the Jim Thorpe Award last season with Rawlison, if y'all remember that, which was pretty big for Kent State. And we'll also see Bryce Baker finish the year with that nearly 3,800 yards, 38 touchdowns of 5 interceptions, which is absolutely insane. I hope that in College Football 27 they have a stat screen where you can look back at years prior. I mean, if you think about it, there's only really 30-ish players or quarterbacks at least that would be on that screen, but maybe we won't get that. Sean Patrick finished with just under 900 yards. Here's a couple of our other guys. Bryce Baker also finished with 605 passing yards, and then Wayne Cantrell finished with above 1,000 on receiving. All in all, I think it was a good rebuild. I think if we had another year, I think we had a really good chance. The recruiting, obviously, we didn't really go over because we didn't recruit the last year, but if we had another season to recruit, it would have been huge for us. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. And be sure to check back for more College Football 27 content coming in the next couple weeks. Launch is just around the corner, so subscribe to stay up to date, all of that stuff. But anyways, I'll catch you all in the next one.